Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm gonna go straight into the steps that I'm doing. I have sprayed some makeup setting spray and used Smitha's and Ofra Cosmetics new collaboration highlighter in shade Flash. I like to nowadays also apply highlighter on the chest area and on the kind of like on the bones of the arms, just to make this area look super beautiful and glowy and shiny. Not just the face but also your chest and all of those areas has to look shiny equally to give it a glowy look. So first thing first, I'm going to work on our eyebrows. For that I've used my Got To Be glue to create a sort of like a feathery eyebrow look. And then now applying some primer, I've used my Smashbox Hydrating Primer all over her face using a flat brush. Moving on to next, I've used P. Louise's concealer for the eyes. This is in shade 2. And I'm just carving out carefully under her brows and also placing that concealer all over her lid. And then using a kind of like a flat angular brush. This is by Sephora. I'm blending it nicely around her lid so nothing is chunky, nothing is too much, and it's blended well for the eyeshadow to sort of sit onto. Before I apply today's eyeshadow, my model here, as you can see, she already has semi-permanent eyelashes done. So that is the reason why I actually applied the Scotch tape to sort of give me a guideline, because it's very hard to see when she already has a lash on her eyes to see where her kind of like the eye line stops. So I actually had to kind of guide myself with the tape. And then I'm just using, for eyeshadow, I'm using Makeup by Marie's eyeshadow palette. It's the matte palette with all the matte colors, and I've gradually worked my way up. So the first few colors that I've used is like matte 5, matte 6, and then I've used matte 11 and matte 12. Some of the, lightest to darkest color. And then I've gradually sort of started working my way out. And then now I'm basically trying to bring the darkness towards the inner corner as well, because it's going to be a half cut crease look. And then using a concealer, I've started to carve out the lid space for my model here. It is going to be a cut crease, matte cut crease look, so it's nothing's gonna be shiny, shimmery, none of that, except for the face. The face is definitely gonna be glowy. To set all of the concealer, I've used the same palette and in the shade matte 1 and matte 3. These are the two colors that I've sort of mixed together to get that, and also I've used matte 2. Mostly used matte 2, but I've also used matte 1 and 3 sort of combined together for the closer to the inner corner area and also closer to the cut crease area. And then using another darker shadow, I'm just basically marrying the lid and the outer color together. For that, I've pretty much used matte 7 and matte 6. Kind of like a mid shade between the matte 1s and then the matte 12. And then using my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeliner. This is the liquid eyeliner in shade black, which turns out super matte. This is the reason why I like it, because it dries matte and almost instantly, and that is the reason why I feel like this is such an easy application on my clients. In order to sanitize that, I usually just go ahead and use a alcohol to sort of wipe it out before I put it in. And then next I'm using a flat brush to sort of go over the black eyeliner using matte 12, which is kind of like a black eyeshadow. And then using again my matte 7 and 8, I'm just going over the cut crease area. For foundation today, I mixed 2 foundations for her. One was the Huda Beauty in shade Toffee, and then I've also used NC44. She has a very similar skin tone as mine, actually pretty same actually, I would say, because I'm actually sometimes Toffee or Amaretti in Huda Beauty, or NC42 or NC44 depending on the season. So she has a very similar skin tone as mine, so it was a very easy match for me as well. And I generally have a very good sense of what foundation matches on the skin, so I've never had issue with that. I can just see and tell what shade they will be. And here I'm using a Sephora bigger flat foundation brush to blend that all over her face. Now using a concealer, I'm making sure I The concealer that I use, I'm not too sure about the color, but it's definitely from, I believe it's either e.l.f. I'm pretty sure it's e.l.f. Cosmetics that I've used for concealer. I've been hooked onto their concealers a lot, and using a smaller brush that I previously used to apply foundation close to her eye areas, I used the same brush to apply all the highlights of her face, you know, the bridge of the nose and also the forehead, all of those areas. And now using the same Sephora brush, the flat foundation brush, I'm just blending it away. And then going in with a smaller foundation blending brush, I'm going close to her under her eyes because those areas are super small and you need a smaller brush to sort of fit into that space. And look how nicely that foundation has blended beautifully to her skin tone. And once it's done, before I set it with some powder, for powder I've used Laura Mercier's translucent powder in shade Honey, and I've just used a triangular sponge. This is from Amazon. I just got a whole bunch of them, you know, one use and I toss them out for sanitary purposes, but it's so nice. It makes the whole makeup application super easy, super nice. It sets the under eyes so beautifully without having to bake so much, which is the reason why I've been hooked onto this with this product so much. Beauty makeup sponge for powder is like a game changer for me. For contour, I've used the Kat Von D contouring palette, and using the darker shade I've pretty much used to contour the perimeters of her face, and then same shade I'm using to contour her nose as well. I always like to use this flat brush by Ingla Cosmetics. This is the one that I'm talking about. It has a flat surface, so easy to draw a line. And then I like to use a kind of like an eyeshadow brush for the crease application, and just use that to blend the sides of the nose. And then I'm just taking the yellow powder from the same palette and just making sure her under eyes are brightened and also her other higher points of her face. And instantly you can see how powder as well makes a huge difference when you apply on top of a cream product. And for blush, I've used my Inglots blush. I have actually used a couple of blushes together. It's not like one particular blush that I've applied. And then now using the matte shade in number 10, I am now going to use it under her eyes, kind of like a brownish shade. And then using a flat brush by MAC Cosmetics, I'm applying that. This mascara is actually hers, so that's why I had no issues with going ahead and applying it. Usually I always use a separate brush from Morphe Cosmetics to apply, but because she uses the same mascara as me, I'm just went ahead with it. For eyebrows, I'm using a very fine brush that is going to help me create kind of like fine defined lines, almost like helps me creating that stroke of eyebrows, which is why I've used that. And because I've created that feather eyebrows, this technique of creating small strokes of hair like lines helps create that feathery eyebrows and gives that more effective feathery brow look. So very carefully I just took little by little and I'm creating feathery strokes, and that kind of gives me more of a fuller feathery brows without making it look more like a chunky brow, which is what I wanted to avoid. So again, here I'm just going with slow strokes of brows. To set everything, I'm using Morphe setting spray. I always like to use a setting spray prior to me applying the highlighter. Now I'm using the Smithas and Ofra Cosmetics highlighter. I use two brushes. One is a flat foundation brush for her cupid and also the bridge of the nose. And then I've gone back to my fluffy brush to apply on the bigger spaces like the forehead, the chin, or even the cheekbones as well. I'm sorry, on the higher points of the cheekbones. I love this highlighter. We need to talk about this highlighter on my next video. I have been obsessed with Smithas and Ofra Cosmetics new collaboration, and this is the shade Flash, and it works beautifully on my skin tone and also someone with a deeper skin tone. So far I've been pretty impressed with the color combination. For lip liner, I've used Chestnut from MAC Cosmetics, and I'm just carefully drawing the lines of the lips. You can always use that sponge to help create a nice kind of like a space to put your hand on. And then for liquid lipstick, I'm using Bestie. This is also Ofra and Smitha's collection. And then I've used a little bit of lip oil from Iconic London Cosmetics. Once that's done, I'm now going to basically curve out the lines under her jawline to create more defined contouring lines. There you go. Just use a translucent powder, the same Laura Mercier powder in shade Honey, just so that it looks a little bit more cleaner and more chiseled. And to set everything now, I've used the same Morphe setting spray, and that's basically it, guys. This is the final look of this makeup look. Let me know what you guys think. This is such a beautiful makeup look. I've been obsessed with this matte eyeshadow makeup look together with the feathery eyebrows. It is such a modelicious look. All the models in today's day and time are doing this feathery eyebrows look, and it looks absolutely stunning. It instantly lifts the eye, and I just love how this whole makeup has turned out. Subtle yet dramatic, but yet has that matte eyeshadow vibe. Beautiful. And I just love how this overall makeup has turned out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you on my next video. Till then, take care.